Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about how to glow from the inside out. And today I want to share with you my February faves. Now, this is the video where I share with you the skincare and beauty products that made a big impression on me this month. So if you're so ready to dive into all the February faves, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. First up, empties alert. I have finally emptied the Haruharu Black Rice Probiotics Barrier Essence. And I know you're like, Kelly, how did you make this product last so long? I literally do not know. And I've been using it pretty much morning and night time pretty much every single day since November. So this emptied a mid-ish February. Yeah. So what are we saying here? We're saying November, we're saying December, we're saying January, and then a little bit into February. So like three and a half months, right? I think that's pretty good for a product that is only 150 milliliter. And I think the reason why, I know I was like, I don't know why it took me so long. Now I know why, because it's the texture. It's very thick, it's very creamy. And so I don't find myself over applying this. I find myself probably just using the correct amount, quite honestly. And so it lasted me a very long time. And this has been in like every single routine since November. So you're aware of this. That's why I wanted to update you on this, because it is empty now and I'm really sad about it. I do have another one. I have like a deluxe sample size that I have been using, but I'm trying to wean myself off of this, quite honestly, because it's perfect for the cold weather that is going to start tapering off soon. And so I don't want to like open it up and then kind of have that same thing happen where I put it on a shelf and forget it. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a longer sort of empties review. I absolutely adore it. I am missing it. My skin is kind of craving it right now. And so I had this like weird period in February where I was like, well, what do I do now? This was bringing so much strength and moisture and comfort to my skin. And so what am I going to replace it with? And I've been in this like very frugal mode over the last couple of months. It always happens after the holidays for me personally. But I've been in a very frugal mode where I'm like, you're not buying anything new. You need to focus on what you have. One empty, one newbie, right? As I always preach. And so I shopped my skincare stash. I do take my own advice from time to time. And I tried quite a few different things. And, there was something that I was like, yeah, I could get on board with this, but it just wasn't quite hitting properly until I kind of circled back around to this product, which is the first February fave. It is the Nacific Uyu Cream Toner. Now, this was also in the Milky Toners for Cold Weather video that I did in fall of 2024. The video I was talking about that I tested this product first for. The Uyu Cream Toner was in that video as well, and it really came out ahead as one of my faves from that video. And it was another kind of one of those cases where I was like, all right, the video, I feel good about my review, I feel good about my experience with this product, but as is, the case with trying to keep up with content, right? It's often you want to refresh things, or you're onto different things, or you're trying different things, you're prioritizing different things. So this was one that kind of got put on the shelf and then kind of actually got pushed kind of towards the back. And so I just kind of forgot about it, out of sight, out of mind. And so when I was shopping my stash, I was like, oh yeah, this is so good. And so I started bringing this back into my routine and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. It is lighter than the Haruharu, to be clear, but it is the right amount of nourishment that my skin needs, especially because I have been favoring really creamy serums over the last couple of months as well. So this is actually kind of a nice pair where the Haruharu sometimes wasn't always the best pair, and I've been very upfront about that too. Sometimes it gets a little too thick for my skin, which gets very dry in the winter, and so this actually has just kind of like that right, slightly lighter consistency that I've really been enjoying, but it's still very comforting. It's still very nourishing. And so I wanted to kind of update you on this one because I did talk about it a few months ago, and then it kind of fell out of my routine, but I am actually bringing it back because I do really enjoy this product quite a bit. Now, it does look a lot like Laneige Cream Skin Refiner, and you may be wondering, is this anything like that product? Is it kind of like the original formula? It's actually a little bit more moisturizing than original Cream Skin for me personally. There's a little bit more slip here. There's a little bit more creaminess. It's not just like totally milky and watery. There's a little bit more fullness to this, and a little bit more of a luxurious, rich slip to this, but still really great absorbency. It makes your skin super soft, really moisturized. It's just not quite as like bouncy as this guy, but as far as like keeping my skin nourished and moisturized and comforted, this is doing the trick. And so I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a different segment this month, kind of updating you on something that has been loved very, very dearly, right? Like there's nothing left in this bottle, and yet I don't want to let it go. However, there are some other really great products out there. Shopping my stash, I was pleasantly surprised to sort of rediscover and re-fall in love with the Nacific Uyu Cream Toner. So February has been a pretty wild month. I mean, there's been a lot going on in the world that can make us feel like we're on quite a roller coaster, right? But also I've been very busy. February was like a hard stop to my like hibernation phase that I go through in deep winter. February was like, you got to get out of the house. You got to get going. You got to pick up these projects. So I've actually been a lot more busy than I was anticipating. And yeah, been on that roller coaster. And so, yeah, February has been interesting. It felt like January had like 40 days. And February is just like an extension of the longest January in history. But I haven't had a ton of mental space, quite honestly, for a lot of new skincare products. And I haven't really wanted to switch things up too much because I've really had a good spot with my skin, as I shared over the last couple of months, really hitting my skincare goals. But also with winter, as I share every single year on my channel, winter just really has my skin in a hold, right? And I know exactly what I need to do, but if I deviate from it too much or experiment too much, it can backfire on me. So I've just been really loyal. You know what I mean? You've been seeing me using all of the same stuff over the last few months. So I've actually been turning a lot of my attention, not necessarily to new skincare products, but actually new skincare devices, which is new for me because I will say over the years, I always say when it comes to skincare devices, it's like, I enjoy them, but I just never dedicate the time to them. Like just building the habit is just so hard for me. But I don't know, maybe something has changed with me this year and I've been getting a lot more into skincare devices. And so I did want to talk about the Medicube HR Booster Pro. I've actually had this for not quite a year, but maybe 9 months. I've had it actually for a while. And it was kind of the same case. I got it and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I was like, oh, okay, got shoved into the back of the cabinet, right? But I actually started bringing this back out in around November, actually. And I was playing around with it and I was like, I kind of like this, but I don't know. And then I just kind of felt like I kept using it. And then especially in January, I was using this like every single morning. And then that habit actually has carried over into February as well. So what I like about this is it actually rolls in a lot of the different Medicube devices into one device. So if you've been watching my channel over the last couple of years, you know that I've tried out the Medicube Air Shot device as well as the Medicube EMS device. And I have very fond, favorable feelings about both of those devices. But as I, shared, it's hard for me to keep that habit. But what I really like about this one is it has those modes, as well as the HR. I can never remember these names. I'm going to go through them. So booster mode, that one was new to me. It's actually my favorite. I'll talk about that in a second. The microcurrent mode, for me personally, this is replacing that EMS device, which is discontinued. The DermaShot mode, this is the one I was saying. Is this the HR mode? No, it's the DermaShot mode, and this is the one that stimulates collagen. And then AirShot is the one that I referred to earlier. AirShot is like the needleless micro needling, which is all the rage in Korea, like all the different ways that we can needle our skin without needles, right? But I've also reviewed the AirShot device from Medicube in the past. And so what I really like about it is, like I said, it rolls all 4 of those modes into one more compact device. And so somebody like me, somebody who's super into skincare, who has a drawer full of these, right? I like that it's just the one, but I get all the options that I can choose from depending on what my skin needs. So just there, that actually has helped me build this habit because I'm not like digging through a drawer like, well, I want EMS today. way, but actually I want air shot now. And all of these, oh, it's not charged. It just gets too complicated. So I like the simplicity of this. And then it has a built-in timer, which I also like, a new digital display, as you can see, which the older devices, they counted you down, but they didn't have this. So I really like this. There's an app you can connect this to your phone to. I'm not really into that. Like, I'm a weird person and anything that's like, oh, get an app and use it with your phone. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Can I just like plug and play? I'm a very plug and play person. So, but you can use the app with this as well. As I was mentioning, booster mode is probably the one that I use the most, and it's my favorite. And for me, booster mode really boosts the glow. And I actually wanted to talk about this product in my recent brightening skincare regime really video, where I shared with you not just what I do on a nightly basis, but what I'm doing on a weekly basis and the actives that I am cycling through for months now, because I've seen such a great improvement in my skin. And I actually did film a segment where I was talking about this device, but quite honestly, the video was getting too long. This felt like we were going like way into the weeds and on a sidetrack, because at the end of the day, this is not responsible for my skin's glow up, right? What I shared in that video is what's responsible. However, incorporating this over the last couple of months, booster mode does what it says. It boosts those results. So if you have a good, strong core skincare routine in place, this will help. If you're confused about your products, if you're using the wrong products, this is probably not going to wow you, in my personal opinion. And so that's why I didn't want to include that part in that particular video. Just didn't really make sense in that project. However, I would say that this has contributed, because when I'm using booster mode, like every single morning, and this is really nice because you can start using it like with your first layer of skincare, and you can just go in like nice soft circles, which feels luxurious. It feels really nice. It just feels very intuitive, and I really enjoy the process of this. And as you're kind of doing this on your skin, you would be touching your skin, by the way. I'm not going to do it because I have makeup. You can then start putting on your serum, right? And this is supposed to help with absorption. It is supposed to help it get deeper into your skin. And I've noticed as I've been using this that my skin is a lot smoother. And so what do I mean by that? I mean like texture improvement with the appearance and the quality of my pores, right? Definitely a little bit more plumpness in my skin, maybe because it's boosting the absorption. And I love to layer my products, and so I get a little bit more of a juicier effect with my skincare. And I do feel like it has maybe it has helped with hyperpigmentation, but again, it's only boosting what I'm putting onto my skin. So it's already kind of helping the results of the other things that I'm using in my skincare that contribute to healthy, glowy skin. Like I said earlier, this is only as good as the timer went off. This is only as good as the skincare routine that you have built for yourself. The other thing that this has been bringing to me that is, I don't know, I feel like I want to include it in my review, is that it's actually kind of joyful to use. And I do feel like I'm pampering myself, and I do feel like I'm getting a mini facial every single day. And I feel like I'm investing in myself in an additional way. And I mean like time, right? Investing in myself in an additional way that my current skincare routine, while I absolutely love it to bits and pieces and what it does for my skin on a practical level is amazing, I feel like I just have been doing it for so long, and I know why I'm doing it because it's working, but I'm feeling maybe a little bit bored, right? And so I feel like maybe I'm not doing enough for myself because it's just like been the same thing month after month, even though I love the results. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like an emotional thing there. And so adding this into my routine over the last few months, but especially I've been loving it this month because I've been feeling a little bit bored, but then I'll just like change it up with the modes that I'm using or how long I'm using them, and start to use it on my neck and under my chin and, like around this area here, right? And so there's always so much more that we can discover with skincare. It's not always about changing out specific products. And so I feel like this brought me joy in that sense as well. Now, speaking of spicing things up, I do want to talk about the Anua Rice 70 Intensive Moisturizing Milk. So I did review the Anua Rice and Ceramide line, which this product is a part of. I did review that line of products at the beginning of February. I talked about the barrier serum, and I talked talked about the milky toner. And when I was kind of like planning and sort of sketching out that review and deciding like, do I just want to talk about one of the products? Do I want to talk about 2, 3, 4? What is the point of view here, right? Before I start putting these products on my face. And I did decide, I was like, you know what? I just kind of want to include the moisturizing milk along with the toner and the serum, kind of like make a little mini routine, right? But I went in fully knowing that this was not the right moisturizer for my face. Like I know my skin well. I have a very specific checklist of what my moisturizers need to do for me, especially with my skin type and my skin concerns, but especially because, like I said, winter is tricky, right? So I just knew going in that this was not going to be enough for my skin. I just wanted to get the facts, and share them with you all, kind of knowing that I was reviewing this for other skin types and other folks. So I went in, I got the facts, and I came out with a love for this product. Quite unexpectedly, I was not expecting to like this as much as I do. Now, to be clear, this is still not enough for my face. Everything I know about my face skin still holds true. This is called a moisturizing milk, but it truly is like a lotion type of moisturizer, right? So it's not as heavy and dense as a cream, which is what I favor right now, right? It's a lot lighter. It's not really like super duper occlusive on the skin. But what really impressed me about this particular product is it actually does pack a lot of moisture in a light, breathable lotion texture. Very nourishing. It's very skin softening. It's very comforting, skin soothing. There's a really nice kind of like skin brightening effect here. There's some niacinamide in addition to the rice. And there's just a really nice silky richness to this while still maintaining a milky lotion feel. So it's thin, it's light, it's breathable, but it's moisturizing. It's not very occlusive, so it's still very breathable. It will soften your skin. It will condition your skin. It feels silky and rich and luxurious, but light. And so that light factor is not my favorite thing to finish off my skincare routine with, right? I would happily layer this under a heavier cream, but my favorite use for this, and why I really, like I said, I went in for facts and came out with love, is I love this on my neck. I love this on my chest. It's a beautiful body milk. And the key here is the rich lightness. I get all the moisture that my dry body skin needs. I can actually get quite ashy in the winter, right? It has all of that skin nourishment and soothing and softening that I need, but it's not so heavy. So I just really love how conditioning and moisturizing it is, but light. And I gave it a very high rating in that video. I think I gave it 8 out of 10 because I was really impressed with the qualities of this. So it could be great for folks who don't need heavy creams and don't need an occlusive final moisturizing product. This would be great for you. But even if you're just looking for maybe some K-beauty that feels really good extended past the chin area, right? This is kind of how I'm using it and really enjoying it. So for this month's self-care corner, I want to talk about joy. And maybe you just jumped out of your skin a little bit. I understand, because I totally get that the word joy at this point in time can feel a little bit triggering, right? You might, oh, joy? Are you kidding me, Kelly? As I said, January felt like it had 60 days. I feel like February was just an extension of January. It's just, the time has been really weird. It's been very stretchy. And there's a lot going on. And I really feel like every single month for almost the last year, I have been saying, starting off this segment every month with, there's a lot going on. It's been a heavy month. It's been hard. Yeah, I know. And I'm not just talking about where I live currently here in the United States. I'm not just talking about that. I mean, like on a global scale, as human beings, as a collective, there is a lot of change happening in the world right now. A lot of change, a lot of instability. Things are going at a rapid pace, right? And not always for the better. Some of the most natural responses to what's happening right now, these are just the most human responses: fear, worry, anxiety. I even see anger coming out because we do not feel safe. We do not feel secure. We do not know what's happening next. And so to talk about joy when we're feeling all of that, yeah, it's going to make some of us kind of like jump out of our skin. How can I talk about that right now when all of this is going on? But let me tell you, It has been a lot. And I will say, I was like in this cycle over the last like 6 weeks or so, constantly scrolling, doom scrolling, right? That we've even made a word for this specific habit where we see one bad thing and we're like, oh my God, that's making me feel so much fear and so much worry and so much anger, right? And anxiety, right? But I can't stop scrolling. Like I have to continue to feed this anxiety and worry and fear and anger. It's like you're digging yourself into a hole, right? And you know that you're going deeper and deeper. And the deeper you go, the harder it is to see the light and get out of this hole, right? And so a lot of the advice when you get stuck in this doom scrolling, right, is like just detach, just stop, just like, you know what I mean? Delete the apps, cut it off, like put your phone in another room and walk away. And that's great because that stops you from digging the hole deeper, right? But now you're just standing in a hole. If you just detach and do nothing else, you're just standing in a hole, looking up. Maybe there's like a little sliver of light and you're like, hello, I'm down here, right? And you're just stuck in that feeling. And to be clear, what I'm talking about are very natural, like human responses. Like, of course, when there is a lot of instability, we're going to be fearful. We're going to start to worry. We're going to feel anxious and we might get angry, right? But the issue is when we stay there. And I feel like the doom scrolling and all of that keeps us in the hole, right? And when we just detach, we're still in the hole. We're just not going deeper, right? And so I personally feel like detach, step one. Step two, prioritize joy. Think about that because I also understand that it's kind of a triggering word because you feel guilty for engaging in joy. You feel guilty for prioritizing that. In your individual life, you feel that you have a role that you need to fulfill and joy maybe isn't part of it because it's not adult, right? It's not a part of being a partner or a mother or a daughter or a son or a student or an employee or adulting, right? Yes, it is. It's part of being human, but sometimes I feel like it just gets wedged out of like our reality for whatever reason, right? So think about joy. It's not a bad thing. Just like we say with self-care, right? You have to fill yourself up, right? Before you can kind of like overfill your cup and spill out to others. It's the same with joy. It's the same. You have to prioritize yourself. You have to take care of yourself. But your homework, you know what I mean? Don't just keep your joy to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Share your joy. And in fact, when you're really engaging with your joy, you know what I mean, and prioritizing it, you're not going to be able to keep it in anyways, right? But the reason I wanted to talk about joy is not just to get yourself out of the hole, but it actually helps other people to be inspired to get out of their worry and fear and anxiety and even sometimes their anger. It is amazing what prioritizing that can do to the folks around you. You know, I talk about shining your light. When you shine your light, other people see your light. When other people see your light, they're inspired to shine their light. They take a little bit of that and they get inspired and maybe they shine their light. And then somebody else, you know what I mean? It keeps paying forward. And so it's a really beautiful gift to give, to share that, right? And I feel like it's actually an act of resistance to all of the worry and the fear and the anxiety that feels like it's taking such a chokehold on us right now. So now it's your turn. Do you have any favorite skincare or some great empties from this month, or maybe a self-care lesson that you learned? Let me know in the comments below. If you loved the video, and maybe this is your first time watching a video from me, but you made it all the way to the end, please do hit subscribe. Come join our skincare and self-care community, and turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I love you so much. I hope you're doing all right, and I hope that you're prioritizing joy and that you are shining your light. Please keep doing that. We need you. I love you so much, and I'll see you next month. Bye.